What's up, flippers? So today I'm doing a video by request for a Vicious Vo or some weird name like that. You got a weird username, bro. Anyways, the question was about the shortstop, and it was basically just kind of asking about how to do it. I have a video up that I'm going to link down in the description below that's a little more comprehensive than I'm going to do this video, just because I've done so many videos on the shortstop that it's just like getting ridiculous at this point. But I'm going to go ahead and do one more, and it's just kind of a hard trick to get down. Like, a lot of people don't realize it's a lot of practice that it takes to get it consistently. And so the number one factor to see how you're going to get it down and stuff is really just your consistency in practicing it. But here's a few tips just to kind of like throw them out there if you haven't gotten them before, or if you haven't seen them already. The number one thing that he said he was having problems with was doing half of the motion. So coming up, catching it, and then finishing it off with another part of the motion. So doing it in like two parts. So what that would look like is it would look like this. And that's like two parts, and it looks a lot sloppier compared to if you were to do it like this, all in one. And it also depends on the vowel song that you have. Like, for example, just dropped my headband. This DV Barfly is like insanely good at hitting shortstops. It's like basically effortless. And so that's just kind of one of those things where a lot of handle weight, but also being neutral, it kind of helps out with the shortstop. You have to know that like a lot of factors play into it, but one thing that I kind of wanted to go over is for the specific problem that you're having, the number one fix is momentum from the bottom. So if you go back and watch the video that I'll link in the description, it's called basically a shortstop tutorial. There's a part of the video where I talk about momentum from the bottom, and I basically just talk about how there is differing levels of momentum that you can throw it from, but the harder you throw it from the bottom, the more likely the motion is to be automatic for you. So when you're throwing it from the bottom very softly, you'll notice that you have to kind of like muscle through the motion. So like here, I'll throw it kind of slow, and it kind of, see how I'm getting stuck there, and see how it's kind of a winded motion. Well, anyways, I don't ever throw it like that because to me, the consistency is just not where it needs to be. When I throw it from the bottom with a little bit of oomph, where I'm flicking it up pretty good, you'll notice that all of the finger motions that you've been taught to do, so you throw it up around this thumb, catch it with your thumb and your middle finger, and then this finger will come along and replace your thumb and just slightly guide it. You lean your hand back, and that's the motion, right? Well, what you'll kind of realize is that when you throw with a lot of momentum from the bottom, these motions that you think are designed to move the balisong are actually not to move it, they're just to guide it. And so the same way like the choker fan, when you hit a choker fan, all the motions don't necessarily start or do any specific chore. They actually just help the movement that's already naturally trying to occur get guided in the right direction. And it's the same thing for the shortstop. These little motions that you're doing just guide it. And so if you're throwing it from the bottom and you're having trouble with the motions, it's because you're not throwing it hard enough. And one big factor is live blades versus trainers. This is one of those instances where I would think that like a trainer is always better to learn the shortstop. I had tried to learn the shortstop a lot with a live blade, and I had the most success whenever I switched to trainers only, because a lot of this trick is very scary. Like, let's say you get up to here and you feel scared to grab it at the right time because the blade's right there and your thumb could get lodged in, and you have some sort of fear about really flicking that knife. And so that's kind of like one of those things where I would recommend learning this trick on a trainer. It's one of those things, there's a lot of tricks like that. Like, for example, that aerial right there, trainer first before anything. If you want to learn the Z choker, trainer first, right? So it's one of those tricks you might not realize is a trainer first type of trick. But this video is getting kind of long, so I'll get to the point. Throw it up from the bottom, flicking it with your fingers kind of aggressively. That's really the number one thing, is that aggressive flick. And then when you get to the top, you want to lean your hand back. So like I said, the most of motion that you're kind of going to be doing with these two fingers is you're going to kind of flick it up and kind of guide it to come back, because when you're doing it in two motions, you're just losing momentum and restarting it. So it's just here, here, and that's not really the true nature of the trick. Coming here like this is how it should be, but you'll notice that it can only happen in certain instances, which is whenever you have a lot of momentum from the bottom, and when you get to the top, you lean your hand back and let it kind of fall into place. If you have any extra questions and stuff like that, I would go ahead and watch the video that I link in the description, because that's going to have the most information for you. This one is kind of like it's just like a little taste of what that other video is like. So hopefully it helped. Throw it with a little more pressure from the bottom. Dang, look at my forearm. Anyways, throw it with a little more pressure from the bottom, and then lean your hand back when you get to the top. If you have like a trouble with the motion, like you have to remember, here's another big thing for your specific instance of the thing you're having problem with. You need to loosen up. Like when you're here and you're doing this, like real loose, like you can get it up nicely. But when I'm very stiff about what I'm doing, it's always going to stop. It's always going to stop, and it's always going to come here. So even if you're throwing it fast, if you're stiff and you're focusing on this catch too much, like focusing on that first catch, if you throw it right, the first catch shouldn't even really be a catch. It should just be another guiding point. So if you look at it as one motion that's guided along by your fingers rather than two motions, because I know a lot of people explain it like it's two things, like it's a roll here and then, like it's a roll here and then it's a roll here. No, it's one motion and you're guiding it to the right motion, and that will do it. So loosen up on your fingers and stuff when you're doing the trick, because I think that's like one of the things that a lot of people don't do. So yeah, let me know if it helped.